But what if I told you that hidden in plain sight is one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever minted, the 1987 no-mint mark penny? A coin so rare, so secretly precious, it has stunned collectors and sold for jaw-dropping amounts reaching as high as $2.5 million in top condition. Yes, you heard that correctly. $2.5 million for a single penny. And it's not just about the number, it's the mystery behind it, the hidden errors, the shockingly limited production, and the stories of people who discovered their wealth lying unnoticed in jars, drawers, or even couch cushions. This is not a tale of ordinary change. This is a tale of hidden fortune, waiting for the keen-eyed, the patient, and the lucky. Why would a coin most people consider just a penny skyrocket in value into the millions? The answer lies in the mistakes of the U.S. Mint, the quirks of coin production, and the very nature of rarity. In 1987, the Philadelphia Mint produced Lincoln cents as usual. Most coins that year carried the familiar P mint mark or were otherwise standard circulation pennies. But a few slipped through the cracks, pennies that bore no mint mark at all. At first glance, they look identical to any other 1987 Lincoln cent. But for the collector in the know, they are treasures hiding in plain sight. The truth is incredibly rare. Experts estimate that only a handful of these pennies exist in pristine, top-grade condition. And it's not just about rarity, it's about condition, too. Even a small scratch, a tiny blemish, or a slight discoloration can strip a coin of its astronomical value. Only the most flawless specimens can command the seven-figure prices that have stunned collectors around the world. And then, there's the hidden errors, the quirks that make the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln cent a collector's holy grail. Some of these coins show what experts call die cracks, subtle flaws in the metal caused by imperfections in the die used to strike the coin. Others reveal doubled dies, faint ghost-like images where numbers or letters appear twice. These errors are subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but they're what separate a 1-cent coin from a $1 million fortune. Imagine that. A coin you could pick up at your local grocery store might secretly carry one of these rare mistakes. That one minor difference, a tiny shift in the design, a microscopic crack, turns an everyday penny into a treasure chest worth millions. Collectors who know what to look for are like treasure hunters in a modern-day gold rush. They scour coin rolls, hunt through pocket change, and study mint records with the intensity of detectives chasing clues. And the stories? They're extraordinary. There's the retiree who found a 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln cent tucked among spare change in an old jar, who later sold it for more than enough to retire in luxury. There's the coin dealer who discovered a top-condition specimen in a box of unsorted coins, realizing only later that he had been holding a literal $1 million coin in his hand. Every collector dreams of that moment. The instant ordinary change becomes a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Many people are completely unaware that these coins exist. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln cent was never publicly highlighted, never promoted as a rare release, never even fully documented. Its existence is known only to collectors who have studied mint records and verified specimens. That means the opportunity is still out there. That penny in your pocket, the change in your drawer, the coins in your grandparents' old coin jar, any of them could contain a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Are you the one who could find it? And the suspense doesn't end there. The market value of these coins is not static. It's volatile, thrilling, and in constant flux depending on discovery rates, collector interest, and auction results. Some of the rarest examples have already sold for staggering sums. Reports suggest sales as high as $2.5 million for coins in perfect, pristine condition. To put that in perspective, that's more than most people earn in decades of work. And yet, the coin itself is still physically no larger than a US penny, still small enough to slip between your fingers. The contrast between its size and its value is almost surreal. Why are collectors willing to spend millions on a single coin? It's not just money, it's prestige, history, and the thrill of holding a piece of something almost nobody else can ever own. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it's a symbol of rarity, of luck, of the thrill of discovery. For collectors, it represents the ultimate prize, the crown jewel of any collection. Owning one is proof of knowledge, patience, and the uncanny ability to see potential where others see only the mundane. Because these coins are so rare, verifying authenticity is critical. A fake, even a very convincing one, can be worth almost nothing compared to a genuine, certified specimen. Experts use advanced magnification, historical mint records, and grading systems to authenticate each coin. Once certified, a 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent can enter the auction world, where the stakes are astronomical, and the bids sometimes seem unreal. Some auctions have seen bidding wars between collectors that last hours, each willing to push the price higher, driven by a mix of desire, competition, and the hope that owning this penny will change their life forever. It's at this point that the story becomes almost cinematic. Picture a quiet auction room. Collectors lean forward, eyes fixed on a small, shiny coin under a glass case. The auctioneer calls the starting bid, and the room erupts in tension. Paddle after paddle rises, bids climb rapidly. When the gavel finally falls, a single person walks away with a coin that, just moments earlier, was indistinguishable from any other penny. That coin is now a fortune, a story, a symbol of what can happen when opportunity meets knowledge, and you don't have to be a seasoned collector to participate in this hidden world. The 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is still out there, waiting to be found. It could be in a roll of pennies at your local bank, tucked away in an old family collection, or hiding in plain sight in a jar under your kitchen counter. The challenge is knowing what to look for, understanding the subtle markers that separate ordinary pennies from million-dollar treasures. And once you do, the payoff isn't just financial, it's the thrill of discovery, the rush of knowing you've unearthed something almost no one else has ever seen. First, handle it with care. Even the slightest scratch or blemish can drastically reduce its value. Next, get it professionally authenticated and graded. This step is critical. The difference between an uncertified coin and a certified top-grade coin can be millions of dollars. And finally, understand the market. Auctions, private sales, and collector networks are where these coins reach their true potential. But the most important step of all? Look closely. Examine every coin, study the details, and never underestimate the power of a tiny error that most people would overlook. The 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It's a story, a mystery, a modern-day treasure hunt, and in the right hands, it can be life-changing. One coin, small and unassuming, has the power to transform ordinary Americans into millionaires. And the best part? This story is far from over. There are still coins out there waiting to be discovered, still fortunes hidden in jars, drawers, and rolls of pennies across the country. Could one of them belong to you? Could the next person to hold a 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent in their hand become an instant millionaire? The possibility is real. The potential is enormous. And the opportunity is yours for the taking. Yes, we're talking about a penny that can transform an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. A coin that has collectors scrambling, dealers on edge, and coin enthusiasts asking, how could something so small hold such astronomical value? But here's the catch. Not every 2005 Lincoln cent is a treasure. Only a few, hidden among millions, possess the rare errors that make them priceless. And those errors aren't obvious at first glance. They hide in plain sight, subtle anomalies on the coin's surface that the untrained eye would never notice. Let's start with the errors. In the world of rare coins, errors are king. They are the quirks, the mistakes, the flukes of production that the U.S. Mint never intended, but that collectors will pay fortunes for. On the 2005 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, these errors manifest in several shocking ways. Some coins have doubled dies, where the letters or numbers appear to be shadowed, as if the coin's face has been stamped twice. Others show off center strikes, where the image of Lincoln is shifted, creating a surreal, distorted effect. And the rarest? Coins with missing mint marks, which in 2005 were already scarce but become exponentially more valuable when coupled with a perfect strike and flawless condition. Imagine walking into a coin shop, rolling through what looks like a standard batch of pennies from 2005, and suddenly spotting a coin that doesn't match the rest. The lettering seems doubled. The mint mark is nowhere to be seen. The edges, the lustrous copper surface, it all screams perfection. That's when your heart starts to race, because you just may be holding a piece of numismatic history worth up to $2.60 million. Yes, $2.6 million. To put that into perspective, that's more than the average American earns in 40 years of work. And it's real, there are documented market sales reaching that staggering figure. Collectors have paid insane sums for top condition examples, and the stories keep getting more unbelievable. Coins that were forgotten in jars, pennies found in the couch cushions of suburban homes, or nestled inside dusty collections from parents or grandparents, turned out to be nothing short of life-changing treasures. So, how did a 2005 penny, one minted in the era of iPods and flip phones, become a coin collectors are desperate to find? It all starts with the minting process itself. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, a seemingly flawless operation. But even the most precise machinery has a margin of error. And in 2005, a series of subtle missteps resulted in a tiny batch of coins with anomalies so rare that collectors have been willing to pay beyond reason. A misaligned die here, a missing mint mark there, and suddenly, a humble Lincoln cent is elevated to a collector's dream. The thrill of it isn't just in the value, it's in the chase. You don't just stumble upon these coins. The hunt is part of the magic. There are stories of people sifting through hundreds of rolls of pennies, scanning with a jeweler's loupe, hands shaking with anticipation, until they spot that perfect imperfection. One roll after another, the mundane becomes magical. And when that coin is finally revealed? The excitement, the disbelief, the rush, it's indescribable. And the market only fuels this frenzy. A top-condition 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a collector's item, it's a high-stakes investment. Dealers know the value, auction houses know the value, and the bids can climb faster than you can imagine. Some coins have been sold privately for over $1 million, while others have gone public at auctions, drawing the eyes of elite collectors worldwide. The reports are staggering. Coins sold in perfect, uncirculated condition can reach $2.6 million, with bidders competing fiercely, each one hoping they've found the coin that will make history and make them wealthy. But here's where it gets even more suspenseful. Not all errors are created equal. Some coins may appear rare but fetch only a fraction of the top dollar value. Others, flawless, perfectly struck, with that elusive missing mint mark, are virtually priceless. It's a subtle science, a game of details. Slight variations in the die, minute differences in strike alignment, even the tiniest blemish can reduce the value dramatically. That's why collectors are meticulous, obsessively scanning every coin, examining it under magnification, searching for that perfect storm of rarity and condition. Now, here's a question that might be running through your mind. Could one of these coins be sitting in my own house right now? And the answer, yes. Absolutely. Think about all the pennies that have passed through your life. The ones your parents handed you as a child, the change you've stuffed into jars, the coins you may have forgotten in drawers or old wallets. Among them could be a 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, the type that could turn your mundane collection into a multi-million-dollar jackpot. Imagine the moment of discovery. You're holding a coin, examining it closely. Something about it doesn't look right. It's subtle, almost unnoticeable. The lettering seems slightly different. The mint mark is absent. You line it up under a magnifying glass, and your stomach drops. Could this be? Could this really be the coin that collectors have been searching for? The coin worth millions? Your pulse quickens. Your hands shake. This is the kind of moment that only happens once in a lifetime, and the stories of people who've experienced it are nothing short of cinematic. There's the man in Ohio who found a pristine 2005 no-mint mark penny in a jar his grandmother had kept for decades. The auction coin sold for $1.8 million, a windfall that changed his life overnight. Then there's the collector in Texas who discovered a roll of pennies tucked away in a forgotten corner of a coin store. Hidden among them was a perfect 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. It went on to sell for $2.2 million, leaving everyone in awe. And these aren't isolated incidents. They're the tip of an iceberg, proof that fortune favors the vigilant, the patient, the meticulous. Finding the coin is only half the battle. Understanding its value, navigating the market, and selling it at the right moment takes strategy. The numismatic world is highly competitive. Every auction, every sale, every private deal requires knowledge, timing, and sometimes a bit of luck. But for those who succeed, the payoff is nothing short of extraordinary. The dream of wealth, once so distant, becomes tangible, real money, real transformation, all sparked by a coin so small you could hold it between your fingers. First, check your change. Don't dismiss those pennies. Look for that elusive missing mint mark. Inspect the lettering, the edges, the alignment. Even coins that appear ordinary may hide a secret. Second, understand the market. Study auction results, follow dealers, and learn what makes a coin truly rare. And third, be patient, be vigilant, and embrace the thrill of the hunt. Because the truth is, finding a 2005 no mint mark Lincoln cent in top condition isn't just about money, it's about holding a piece of history, a tangible connection to a moment frozen in metal. Millions of Americans hold coins that could be worth a fortune. The possibility is closer than you think. That coin in your drawer, the penny you overlooked on the sidewalk, the one hiding in a jar, any of them could be the key to unimaginable wealth. It's rare, it's thrilling, and it's real. The 2005 no mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a coin, it's a story, a mystery, a potential life changer waiting to be discovered. So, take a moment. Imagine holding that coin. Imagine the rush, the disbelief, the sheer euphoria of realizing you're holding something priceless. The stories are out there. The coins are out there. And maybe, just maybe, your fortune is hiding in plain sight, waiting for the moment you finally see it for what it is. Every coin tells a story. Every error, every missing mint mark, every perfect strike is a chapter in a book of treasure. And today, the chapter you could write is one that changes everything. Your hands might be holding millions of dollars, and all it takes is a sharp eye, a bit of luck, and the courage to look closely. We're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1984 Lincoln cent, a coin that could turn pocket change into unimaginable wealth. And the truth? Most people don't even realize they might already own one. What makes a coin truly valuable? Is it age, rarity, or some secret detail buried in plain sight? For the 1984 Lincoln cent, the answer is all of the above, and then some. On the surface, it looks like any other penny minted that year. But this coin hides a secret, a subtle flaw that has collectors and numismatists on the edge of their seats. The error is so rare, so elusive, that only a few of these coins are known to exist in pristine condition. And in those rare moments when one surfaces, the world stops to pay attention. It's a story of minting gone awry, a small imperfection on the mint mark, a misalignment, a doubling of letters, or even a die crack that transformed a standard penny into a collector's holy grail. Imagine this, a coin so tiny, so familiar, yet capable of sparking a bidding war that climbs into the millions. Experts have confirmed that the 1984 Lincoln cent with the most notable errors can fetch up to $2.7 million in the highest grades. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny, worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. It's all about rarity, condition, and timing. The 1984 Lincoln cent was produced in massive quantities, millions of them. Yet, only a minuscule fraction carry these extraordinary minting anomalies. And fewer still have survived the decades in flawless, gem-quality condition. That's why collectors chase them with such fervor, willing to spend hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, just to get their hands on one. The stakes are high, the tension palpable, and the rewards? Potentially life-changing. Most people have unknowingly held one in their wallet. Maybe you've saved a few 1984 pennies in a jar or left them in your change drawer. Could it be that among them lies a coin worth more than your car, your savings, or even your home? It sounds impossible, but history is filled with stories of ordinary people discovering extraordinary wealth in the most unlikely places. There's the man who found a rare 1943 copper penny while sorting his change, instantly becoming a millionaire. Or the collector who stumbled across a 1909 VDB Lincoln cent in a dusty drawer and watched its value skyrocket beyond imagination. The 1984 D cent carries that same potential, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the keen-eyed observer. They're subtle, often requiring a trained eye to spot. Look closely at the D mint mark, for example. Is it slightly off-center? Does it show signs of doubling? Or perhaps you'll notice a faint die crack running through Lincoln's profile, almost invisible unless under magnification. These are the details that separate a standard penny from a numismatic masterpiece. Every flaw, every anomaly, is a key to unlocking unimaginable value. Now, imagine the excitement when one of these coins hits the market. Auctions are electric with anticipation. Collectors fight tooth and nail, and bids escalate in ways that seem almost unreal. There have been reports of 1984 D Lincoln cents selling for millions, with prices in top condition peaking around $2.7 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin that costs 1 cent when minted, now commanding a price that could buy a luxury mansion. The transformation is staggering, almost surreal, and it fuels the obsession that drives the coin collecting world. But it's not just about money. There's a story, a thrill, a sense of discovery that makes hunting for rare coins addictive. Every jar of pennies, every forgotten coin roll, is a potential gateway to fortune. And the 1984 D Lincoln cent embodies that thrill more than almost any coin in modern U.S. history. The tension, the suspense, the what if? It keeps collectors searching, hoping, dreaming. Could you be holding $1 million coin right now? It's a thought that sparks both wonder and urgency. Because while rare coins like these exist, they don't stay hidden forever. Some are lost, some are melted, and some are bought up before the public even knows they exist. The clock is ticking for anyone who wants to discover these treasures in their own home. Errors aren't always obvious. Some are tiny shifts in the die, minute imperfections that escape casual observation. That's why experts use magnification, lighting, and even specialized photography to detect them. But for the everyday person, it only takes one moment of curiosity, one glance through a magnifying glass, to potentially unveil a fortune. The stakes are high, the rewards monumental, and the thrill incomparable. Think about this. A 1984 D Lincoln cent could be sitting right next to your morning coffee, waiting for you to notice it. A penny you've overlooked for decades, now suddenly transformed into a key to wealth you never imagined. The world of rare coins is full of these incredible stories, and this coin is one of the most striking examples. And let's not forget the human element. Behind every auction, every sale, are stories of hope, perseverance, and sheer luck. Collectors have traveled across the country, searched countless drawers, and inspected thousands of coins, all in pursuit of that elusive 1984 D Lincoln cent. Some have struck gold. Some have been disappointed. But the dream remains alive, pulsing with each coin that turns up in circulation, in collections, in forgotten jars of change. First, don't panic. Handle it with care. Second, examine it closely, looking for any anomalies in the mint mark, doubling, or cracks. And third, if you suspect you might have a rare specimen, consult a professional, someone who can authenticate the coin and assess its potential market value. Because the difference between a common penny and a multi-million-dollar coin can hinge on a single detail invisible to the untrained eye. The potential is real. We've already seen reported sales of these coins reaching astronomical values. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread now commands prices rivaling luxury real estate. It's a transformation that's almost magical, but grounded in one simple truth: rarity and demand create wealth. And in the world of coins, there is no finer example than the 1984 D Lincoln cent. Imagine the impact. Finding one of these coins could change your life overnight. You could go from sorting spare change to negotiating multi-million-dollar deals with collectors around the world. It's a story of opportunity, timing, and the power of paying attention to the details others overlook. Extraordinary treasures are often hiding in the most ordinary places. The 1984 D Lincoln cent isn't just a piece of metal. It's a symbol of possibility, a testament to the hidden fortunes waiting for those who dare to look. Could the penny in your hand be the next $1 million discovery? Only one way to find out. Examine it closely. Study it. And never underestimate the potential of what seems ordinary. Because in the world of rare coins, the line between everyday change and unimaginable wealth is thinner than a penny's edge. The thrill, the suspense, the possibility, it's all real. And it's waiting for the person willing to take a closer look, to notice what most ignore, to act before someone else claims the prize. The 1984 D Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It's a chance. A story. And maybe, just maybe, it could be your story next. We're diving into one of the most shocking secrets in the world of numismatics. The 1973 Lincoln cent, specifically, the elusive no-mint mark variety, that has collectors and investors scrambling, with reported sales reaching up to an astonishing $2.8 million for coins in top condition. Yes, millions. And yes, it could be sitting in your change right now. The story begins in the heart of the United States Mint in 1973. Millions of Lincoln cents rolled off the presses every year, destined for everyday transactions. For the casual observer, it was just another penny. But sometimes, the smallest details create the largest ripples. Mistakes happen. And when they do, they can create coins that are nothing short of legendary. The 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is one of those mistakes, so rare, so valuable, that it has rewritten the rules of coin collecting. On its face, it looks like any other Lincoln cent, Abraham Lincoln gazing solemnly across the front, the familiar words, "In God we trust," and "Liberty." But the magic lies in the mint mark, or rather, the absence of it. In 1973, pennies were produced at multiple mints. The Philadelphia Mint, in particular, was supposed to stamp the coins with a mint mark, or, in some cases, leave it blank, which was standard for Philadelphia. However, due to a bizarre mix of human error and mechanical malfunction, an incredibly tiny fraction of these coins skipped a step in the minting process. The result? A rare, no-mint mark penny that should have never existed in circulation. The truth is, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is extraordinarily rare. Experts estimate that only a handful of these coins exist in top condition today. Each one is a time capsule from an era when mistakes were made by machines, and human oversight created opportunities that collectors dream about. Every small imperfection, every tiny variance in strike, every subtle doubling of the date, can transform a common coin into a multimillion-dollar treasure. The market value of these coins is where the story truly shocks. Standard 1973 pennies are, of course, worth only their face value. But the no-mint mark variety? That's where fortunes have been made. In auctions and private sales, examples in pristine, near-perfect condition have reportedly commanded as much as $2.8 million. To put that into perspective, that's the kind of money that can change your life overnight. Imagine holding what everyone else sees as a worthless penny and discovering it could fund your retirement, pay off debts, or allow you to chase dreams you never thought possible. But here's the twist. Not every 1973 no-mint mark penny is worth millions. Condition is everything. Coins scratched, worn, or circulated heavily may only fetch tens of thousands, or even less. The real excitement lies in those that have survived decades untouched, hidden in dusty coin rolls, jars, or forgotten drawers. And that's the heart-pounding part. The coin could be in your attic, your glove compartment, even in your spare change jar right now. One slip of a hand, one look in the wrong place, could reveal the coin that turns an ordinary day into an extraordinary story. Let's talk about the errors that make this penny so fascinating to collectors. Many of the surviving 1973 no-mint mark cents show unusual die doubling, a subtle thickening of letters or numbers that can be spotted by trained eyes. Others reveal faint anomalies in the date or the rim, tiny variations that make the coin instantly recognizable to serious numismatists. These errors are not flaws, they are signatures of rarity, the fingerprints of fortune, and the reason why collectors pay astronomical sums for a single specimen. Professional grading services step in here, evaluating the coin's condition, strike, and authenticity with microscopic precision. They assign a grade, from circulated to gem mint condition, and that grade can completely transform the value. A coin graded as gem mint 65 or higher can sell for millions, while one just a few points lower might be worth a fraction of that. Every detail matters: the angle of Lincoln's jaw, the depth of the letters, the tiniest scratches, and each can spell the difference between a lucky find and a life-changing discovery. But the suspense doesn't stop there. Stories of collectors discovering these coins are almost cinematic. There are accounts of coins pulled from decades-old rolls that were purchased for face value, only to later be authenticated and auctioned off for seven-figure sums. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, the sudden realization that the coin you've held in your hand for decades is now more valuable than most people earn in a lifetime. The thrill is palpable, and it's what keeps the legend of the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent alive and irresistible. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy. Owning a coin like this connects you to a specific moment in history. You are holding a piece of American minting history, a tangible artifact that survived human oversight, machinery quirks, and the passage of time. It's a story of error turned opportunity, chaos turned fortune. And it's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things, a single penny, can hide the biggest surprises. Start by examining your pennies from 1973. Look for the absence of a mint mark where it should be. Pay attention to the condition. Are the letters sharp? Is the date clear and unblemished? Even if it seems ordinary, don't dismiss it. A professional evaluation could reveal the hidden treasure within your hands. Every coin has a story, and this particular story is worth millions to the right collector. And if you do find one, don't panic. Handle it carefully, avoid cleaning or polishing, and seek a certified grading service. One slip could diminish its value dramatically. This is where patience, precision, and expertise intersect with luck. Many collectors have turned their fortunes around simply by recognizing the potential in what others ignored, a coin that the average person sees as insignificant. Now, imagine what life could be like if that coin is yours. Picture walking into an auction, or negotiating a private sale, knowing that the coin in your hand could fetch more than a luxury car, a house, or even pay for decades of living expenses. The excitement isn't just in the value, it's in the discovery, the thrill of finding something almost impossibly rare. It's a story of possibility that can change lives, and it's exactly what drives collectors to obsess over pennies, dimes, and nickels like this one. And here's a secret that keeps the market buzzing: the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is only growing in legend. As more collectors and investors realize its potential, competition increases, driving values higher. The scarcity is undeniable, and the proof is in the millions already paid for verified examples. Each new discovery makes headlines, sparking hope in coin enthusiasts nationwide. Your next find could be the next million-dollar story. In the end, this coin is more than copper and zinc. It's a testament to chance, to opportunity, and to the hidden treasures that surround us in everyday life. It's a reminder that history isn't just in books or museums, it's in the small, overlooked details of our own lives, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And today, that someone could be you. We're uncovering the mystery behind the 2007 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, a coin many people have held in their hands without realizing its hidden potential. For decades, collectors have searched for rare Lincoln cents that slipped through the minting process with unusual characteristics. Some were struck with subtle errors, others display mysterious variations that only trained eyes recognize. And among these modern coins, the 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent has slowly become the subject of curiosity, speculation, and surprising market buzz. No-mint mark doesn't always mean rare. In fact, many Philadelphia minted coins traditionally carry no mint mark at all. So why would a 2007 penny without a mint mark suddenly attract attention? Why are collectors whispering about specific examples commanding extraordinary prices, with reports suggesting top-condition specimens reaching astonishing market values, even being compared to coins valued up to $2.1 million in extreme cases? In 2007, millions upon millions of Lincoln Memorial cents were produced. They were everyday coins, designed to circulate, to be spent, to vanish into commerce. Nothing about them seemed special at first glance. But beneath the surface, subtle differences began to emerge. Collectors notice variations in strike quality, slight shifts in design alignment, oddities in lettering sharpness, unusual die characteristics. These tiny clues sparked questions. Could certain batches have been struck differently? Were there undocumented varieties? And could some coins have slipped through quality control carrying hidden minting anomalies? A curious collector examines a coin a little closer than usual. Something looks off. Maybe the rim is slightly thicker. Maybe the lettering appears doubled under magnification. Maybe the finish has an unexpected sheen. That moment of curiosity transforms into investigation, and suddenly, a coin once worth 1 cent becomes the center of a story collectors can't stop talking about. You could hold two 2007 Lincoln cents side by side, and one might be worth only face value while another, nearly identical, could attract serious collector interest. Why? Because rarity in modern coins often comes from microscopic details, die errors, transitional characteristics, or limited production quirks that only reveal themselves under scrutiny. Imagine discovering that the coin you nearly spent on coffee contains a rare die variation. Imagine realizing that a seemingly ordinary piece of copper has become a collectible because of a tiny flaw no one noticed at first. Collectors have long chased modern era coins because they combine two powerful forces, surprise and scarcity. Unlike older rare coins that were always known to be valuable, modern eras can hide among billions of normal pieces, waiting for someone observant enough to find them. Some enthusiasts claim that specific high-grade examples, coins preserved in nearly flawless condition, have achieved remarkable valuations due to their rarity and demand among advanced collectors. Others believe certain varieties are still undiscovered, waiting quietly in circulation. How many pennies have passed through your hands over the years? How many times have you dropped spare change into a jar without looking twice? Every one of those moments could have been an opportunity, a chance encounter with a hidden collectible. First, condition is everything. Collectors call it grade, and it's one of the most powerful drivers of value. A coin that looks brand new, with crisp details, no scratches, and original mint luster, can be dramatically more valuable than one that's worn from years of use. Two coins from the same year, same design, same minting process, yet worlds apart in price because of preservation. Some coins exhibit doubling in letters or numbers, where design elements appear slightly duplicated due to die misalignment. Others show off center strikes, unusual planchet defects, or subtle anomalies that only reveal themselves under magnification. These errors transform an ordinary coin into a conversation piece, and sometimes into a collector's prize. Collectors are driven by stories. The idea that a modern penny could hide a rare variation sparks imagination. It fuels treasure hunting instincts. And when demand rises faster than supply, prices can climb unexpectedly. Stories circulate in collector communities about extraordinary examples, coins graded at the highest levels, preserved in pristine condition, or featuring rare die characteristics, reaching astonishing market attention. Headlines and online discussions amplify the excitement, turning a simple penny into a symbol of possibility. The coin market thrives on excitement, but true value depends on verified grading, authentication, and documented sales. That's part of the thrill, separating myth from genuine opportunity. Imagine the moment when a collector first realizes their coin is different. The pause. The second glance. The rush of adrenaline. The quiet thought, could this really be valuable? You don't need expensive equipment or insider connections to start. You need attention, patience, curiosity. The willingness to slow down and look closely at what everyone else ignores. Look at the date. Study the lettering. Check for unusual spacing or doubling. Notice the shine, the edges, the tiny imperfections. Each detail tells a story about how that coin was created. Across the United States, collectors continue to report surprising discoveries pulled from circulation, coins found in pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections. Each new find adds fuel to the belief that valuable treasures are still out there, hiding in everyday places. The true value of the 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent isn't just its potential price. It's the mindset it represents. The reminder that opportunity often arrives disguised as something ordinary, They invite you into a treasure hunt that begins not in distant lands, but right where you are. You start looking differently. You notice coins you once ignored. You slow down when counting change. You feel a spark of anticipation each time a copper coin catches the light. Because somewhere out there, someone will discover a rare coin tomorrow. Someone will recognize a detail others overlooked. Someone will experience that unforgettable moment when ordinary turns extraordinary. The next great discovery won't come from luck alone. It will come from curiosity, from someone willing to look closer, learn more, and act before the opportunity slips away. So tonight, before you walk past that jar of coins again, pause for a moment. Pick up a penny. Turn it slowly under the light. Ask yourself the question that has launched countless discoveries. Because the story of the 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent isn't finished yet. Its mystery continues to grow with every collector who searches, every coin that gets examined, every hidden detail waiting to be revealed. We're diving into one of the most mysterious and misunderstood coins in modern American coin collecting, the 1979 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. A coin so common that billions were made, yet so fascinating that certain examples have shocked collectors with extraordinary value, surprising errors, and market sales that have stunned even seasoned experts. Imagine this. You're counting your change after buying coffee. You see a brown penny dated 1979. Most people would ignore it, toss it back into circulation, or drop it into a coin jar. But what if that single penny held a secret? What if tiny details, almost invisible to the naked eye, could transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream? The late 1970s were a transitional period for U.S. coinage. Inflation was rising. Mint production was massive. Billions of Lincoln cents flooded the market, and the Philadelphia Mint, the facility responsible for producing coins without mint marks at the time, was operating at full speed. No mint mark meant one thing: the coin came from Philadelphia. And because Philadelphia struck an enormous number of cents in 1979, these coins are everywhere. That's exactly what makes the story so fascinating. Collectors began noticing something unusual about certain 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cents. Subtle differences in strike quality. Strange doubling on letters. Die cracks that created ghost-like lines across the coin's surface. Off-center strikes. Even dramatic misalignments that slipped past quality control during one of the busiest production years in U.S. mint history. At first, these discoveries felt like whispers in the collector community. Small conversations between hobbyists. Quiet excitement in coin forums and auction houses. But as more coins surfaced, the whispers grew louder. Most 1979 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. That's the reality. But hidden among the billions are coins that tell a different story, coins preserved in pristine condition or displaying rare mint errors that elevate their value far beyond face value. Picture two identical coins struck on the same day. One circulates through decades of use, worn down by pockets, cash registers, and weathered hands. The other sits untouched in a roll, preserved in brilliant red mint state condition. The difference between them can mean the difference between pocket change and hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars. Some collectors have reported dramatic double die effects on certain 1979 Lincoln cents. Others have discovered off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait shifts slightly from its intended position. There are examples with clipped planchets, where the metal blank was improperly cut before striking. Each error tells a story of a machine running too fast, a die wearing down, or a moment when perfection slipped. Auction records and collector reports have circulated stories of exceptionally rare Lincoln cents, coins that, under the right circumstances, have reached astonishing prices. While many sales depend heavily on condition, grading, and specific error types, high-grade or unique varieties can command attention from serious collectors willing to pay extraordinary sums. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cent carries an intriguing dual identity. On one hand, it's one of the most common coins ever produced. On the other, it's a potential gateway into the fascinating world of rare varieties and error coins. The key lies in knowing what to look for. Start with the date. A clear 1979 without any mint mark beneath it indicates production at the Philadelphia Mint. Next, examine Lincoln's profile. Are there unusual lines or doubling along the letters or numbers? Does the coin appear slightly off-center? Are there cracks or raised lines suggesting die fatigue? Collectors often describe the thrill of discovering an error coin as a rush, a moment when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. It's like uncovering a secret message hidden in plain sight. Coins graded at the highest levels, those with bright luster, minimal marks, and exceptional eye appeal, can achieve values that seem almost unbelievable compared to their humble origins. When you combine high-grade preservation with a rare error, the result can be a coin that commands serious attention. The Lincoln cent design has remained largely consistent for decades, which makes subtle variations harder to notice. But those subtle differences are exactly what collectors chase. Imagine holding two pennies side by side. To most people, they look identical. But to a trained collector, one might display microscopic doubling that signals a rare die variety. Another might show evidence of being struck on a slightly misaligned planchet, a mistake that transforms the coin's identity. Over the years, stories have circulated of collectors finding valuable coins in bank rolls, estate sales, or even everyday change. Each story reinforces the same idea: treasure doesn't always come from expensive purchases. Sometimes it arrives unexpectedly, because every day, coins change hands. Every day, potential treasures re-enter circulation. And every day, someone somewhere unknowingly spends a coin that might have been worth far more. The idea that wealth might hide in something so small sparks imagination. It taps into the universal dream of discovery. The thought that you could transform a forgotten coin into a valuable asset resonates deeply, especially for collectors who enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Now picture yourself at an auction. The room is quiet. A coin appears on the screen, a 1979 Lincoln cent in stunning condition, certified and graded at the highest level. The auctioneer begins the bidding. Numbers climb quickly. Eyes lock on the prize. The tension builds. As we move toward the climax of this journey, let's reflect on what makes this coin so fascinating. It's not just about money. It's about perspective. A reminder that value often hides beneath the surface, waiting for someone willing to look closer. The answer is yes, because the mint produced billions of coins, and only a tiny fraction have been fully examined. That leaves room for undiscovered varieties, overlooked errors, and coins preserved in remarkable condition. The difference between someone who finds a valuable coin and someone who doesn't often comes down to one simple action. Because history has shown us again and again that valuable coins have been found in the most unexpected places: old piggy banks, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, even loose change returned at the grocery store. Right now, somewhere nearby, a 1979 no-mint mark. Lincoln cent could be waiting. Maybe it's in your house. Maybe it's in your wallet. Maybe it's already in your coin jar, hidden among dozens of ordinary pennies. But hidden among ordinary change is a coin that continues to spark excitement, debate, and curiosity among collectors across America: the 1985 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Copper-toned. Familiar. Abraham Lincoln's profile staring forward just like millions of other pennies. But sometimes, the most ordinary things hide the most extraordinary secrets. And today, we're diving into the mystery behind this overlooked coin, the hidden errors that have shocked collectors, the stories of astonishing value claims, and the reason why thousands of people are suddenly checking their spare change with fresh eyes. The year is 1985. America is moving fast. Music is changing. Technology is evolving. And quietly, billions of Lincoln cents are being produced. Among them are coins struck in Philadelphia. And unlike many other mints, Philadelphia coins of that era often carry no mint mark at all. To most people, that absence means nothing. But to experienced collectors, the absence of a mint mark is the beginning of a puzzle. Picture this. A collector sits at a table under bright light, magnifying glass in hand. They are not searching for perfection alone, they are searching for anomalies. Tiny irregularities. Microscopic shifts in metal. Slight doubling in letters. A faint misalignment. These are the clues that transform a penny into a potential treasure. Most 1985 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents are worth just 1 cent. That's the reality. But a small number have shown characteristics that collectors consider extraordinary. Reports of doubled dies, off-center strikes, dramatic errors created during the minting process. Each error tells a story, a moment where machinery, pressure, and timing aligned in unexpected ways. Stories circulate about collectors discovering unusual specimens worth hundreds, then thousands, and in rare cases, claims surface suggesting market values reaching as high as $2.3 million in exceptional, near-perfect conditions combined with rare error characteristics. Whether every claim holds up under scrutiny or not, the idea itself has ignited a modern treasure hunt. Coins connect us to history. They are tangible. They pass through countless hands unnoticed. And the possibility that something extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight taps into a universal dream, the idea that life-changing fortune might be closer than we think. The real value of any coin depends on a complex combination of factors: condition, rarity, demand, and authentication. Two coins from the same year can look similar, yet one might be worth a few cents while another could draw intense interest from collectors. Condition is king. Collectors use grading systems that measure every detail: the shine of the metal, the clarity of Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of lettering. A coin that appears flawless under magnification can command dramatically higher prices than one with wear or scratches. Now imagine discovering that your penny shows unusual doubling on the date or lettering. Suddenly, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a question mark. Throughout the years, collectors have documented various error types linked to mid-1980s Lincoln cents. Some display subtle doubling in the inscriptions. Others show die cracks or misaligned strikes that create a unique fingerprint. A few even reveal dramatic errors that make the coin look almost unreal. Think about that for a moment. Coins with potential collector interest passing through cash registers, vending machines, and piggy banks for decades. How many slipped through unnoticed? How many are still hiding today? Stories of discovery fuel the imagination. A person sorting through inherited change finds something unusual. Another searches through bank rolls as a hobby and uncovers a coin that sparks excitement. These stories spread online, creating waves of curiosity and inspiring thousands of others to begin their own searches. Not every coin advertised as worth millions actually sells for that amount. Market value depends on real transactions, professional grading, and collector demand at a specific moment in time. The coin world is filled with hype, but also genuine discoveries that continue to surprise even seasoned experts. Imagine examining a handful of pennies tonight. The soft sound of metal clinking together. The careful act of flipping each coin over, checking the date, studying the details. Suddenly, what felt like spare change becomes a treasure map. You begin to notice differences: a brighter shine here, a slightly thicker number there, maybe a strange doubling that catches the light. Each discovery sparks curiosity. Each question leads deeper into the world of numismatics, where history and mystery collide. Collectors often describe this journey as addictive. Not because of guaranteed riches, but because of the chase. The idea that every coin could tell a story. Every detail could unlock a secret. Stories about high-value coins often spread quickly, amplified by social media and online marketplaces. Some claims reach extraordinary levels, including reported market values that climb into the millions for exceptional examples with rare features and top-tier grading. Understanding minting processes, error types, and grading standards transforms a hopeful search into a strategic one. Experienced collectors don't rely on luck alone. They study. They compare. They learn to recognize patterns that others overlook. Consider the role of timing. When a rare error becomes widely recognized, demand can spike overnight. Suddenly, collectors compete for the same scarce pieces. Prices fluctuate. Auctions attract attention. The market shifts like a living organism, constantly evolving. Picture a quiet evening. You empty a jar of coins onto the table. One by one, you inspect them. Most are ordinary. A few catch your eye. Maybe one looks sharper than the rest. Maybe another shows unusual doubling, and whether or not you uncover $1 million rarity, the process itself transforms how you see everyday objects. Suddenly, every penny feels like a mystery waiting to be solved. The story of the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln cent continues to evolve. New collectors enter the field. New discoveries surface. And with each passing year, coins once dismissed as ordinary gain renewed attention. We're uncovering the mystery of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin that looks ordinary. A coin that most people spent without thinking twice. Yet beneath its humble copper surface lies one of the most fascinating and confusing chapters in modern coin collecting, a year filled with hidden varieties, unexpected errors, and stories of jaw-dropping value that continue to fuel the dreams of collectors across America. Because 1982 wasn't just another year for pennies. It was a turning point. A year when the United States Mint changed the very composition of the Lincoln cent, transforming it from a nearly pure copper coin into a copper-plated zinc version almost overnight. And when massive changes happen quickly, mistakes follow. Confusion spreads. And sometimes, rare treasures slip through unnoticed. Imagine the scene. The early 1980s. Inflation rising, copper prices climbing, and the U.S. Mint facing a serious problem. The metal inside each penny was beginning to cost more than the coin itself. Something had to change. And so, halfway through 1982, the Mint switched from heavy copper cents to lighter zinc cores coated in copper. 2 compositions. Multiple dies. Different mint marks. Large dates. Small dates. 8 different major varieties in a single year. Now here's where things become truly intriguing. Among all the 1982 cents, those without a mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, hold a special place. On the surface, they look common. Millions were made. But hidden within that sea of ordinary coins are subtle differences that can turn a penny into a prize. Have you ever heard someone say, "It's just a penny"? That's exactly what makes stories like this so powerful. Because the greatest discoveries are often hiding in plain sight. First, the date itself. There are 2 major date styles, the large date and the small date. To an untrained eye, they might look almost identical. But collectors know that the shape of the numbers, especially the curve of the 2 and the proportions of the 8, can completely change the coin's rarity and desirability. Because during that chaotic transition year, some coins may have been struck using mismatched dies or incorrect metal planchets. Rumors of transitional errors began circulating among collectors. Stories of unusual varieties started appearing at coin shows and online forums. And suddenly, people realized something shocking: certain rare combinations were far scarcer than anyone initially believed. Collectors began hunting. Searching through bank rolls. Digging through old jars. Checking inherited collections. Why? Because in the right condition, with the right characteristics, these coins weren't just collectibles, they were investments. Stories of pennies selling for hundreds, then thousands. And in extreme, top-grade or ultra-rare cases, whispers of market values reaching astonishing heights, figures that made people stop mid-scroll and look again at their pocket change. Could a simple 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln cent really be worth that much? Could a coin you've held in your hand without noticing be hiding secrets that collectors are willing to pay fortunes for? Condition is everything. Collectors use grading scales that measure wear, luster, and strike quality. A coin that has circulated heavily may be worth only face value, but one preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, with blazing red copper surfaces and sharp details, can skyrocket in desirability. Imagine 2 identical coins. Same year. Same design. One spent decades rattling around in pockets, scratched and worn. The other sealed away untouched since the day it left the mint. To most people, they look similar. To collectors, they are worlds apart. Now add rarity into the equation. Certain die pairings or unusual error combinations become the holy grail of collectors. Double dies. Off-center strikes. Misaligned dies. Transitional errors that shouldn't exist but somehow slip through quality control. Picture a retired worker in the Midwest sorting through an old coffee can filled with pennies collected over decades. He weighs one coin out of curiosity. The number seems slightly off. He checks the date style. His heart begins to race. Could this be one of the rare varieties everyone talks about? And yes, headlines about extraordinary market values, stories of coins rumored to reach staggering figures, even claims of multi-million-dollar potential in extraordinary circumstances, ignite imaginations. Whether driven by rare errors, unique provenance, or perfect grading, the idea that a tiny piece of copper could rival luxury assets keeps collectors searching. But here's an important truth. Not every 1982 no-mint mark penny is rare. Not every coin is valuable. And that's precisely what makes the hunt thrilling. The rarity hides among the ordinary, waiting for someone patient enough to look closely. Start with the basics. Check the date size. Compare the shapes of the numbers. Weigh the coin carefully using a precise digital scale. Examine the surface under magnification. Look for unusual doubling in the lettering or numbers. Notice if the strike appears off-center or if details look unusually sharp or soft. The Lincoln cent itself carries history. Introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Over the decades, it has witnessed wars, technological revolutions, and economic shifts. And in 1982, it transformed again, marking the end of an era for copper coinage. When you hold a 1982 penny, you're holding a piece of that transition. A moment when economics forced innovation, and innovation opened the door to unexpected rarities. Think about how many pennies change hands every day. How many jars sit unopened in attics or garages. How many estate sales include boxes of coins no one has examined carefully. Some collectors say the real thrill isn't the sale, it's the discovery. The instant when curiosity turns into certainty. When an ordinary afternoon becomes unforgettable. Because markets evolve. Awareness grows. As more collectors learn about rare varieties, competition increases. Prices fluctuate. Opportunities shift. The coin ignored today might be fiercely hunted tomorrow. Let's imagine the moment you find one. You weigh it. The measurement surprises you. You compare the date style. It matches a rare variety. Under magnification, you notice subtle details that align with known errors. You research further. Auction listings reveal strong sales. Collectors discussing similar coins. Grading services highlighting rare examples. Suddenly, the dream feels real. That's the power of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Not just its potential value, but the way it transforms ordinary people into treasure hunters. Imagine reaching into your pocket for spare change, and unknowingly holding a coin that could change your financial future forever. Not a gold coin. Not a rare antique locked away in a museum. Just an ordinary-looking penny. A Lincoln cent dated 1981. No mint mark. The kind of coin millions of Americans have handled without a second thought. But what if I told you that hidden among these common pennies are rare varieties and errors that collectors chase relentlessly? Coins that have sparked rumors, headlines, and astonishing sales reaching values that seem almost unreal. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most overlooked modern coins in circulation. A penny that hides its secrets in plain sight. A coin that whispers possibility to anyone willing to look closer. And by the end of this story, you might find yourself staring at your own change jar with a new sense of urgency. The year was 1981. America was entering a new decade. Inflation had reshaped the economy, and the U.S. Mint faced rising copper costs that would soon change the composition of the Lincoln cent forever. Billions of pennies were struck that year across multiple mints. Philadelphia produced a large portion, and unlike later years, many coins from Philadelphia still carried no mint mark at all. To most people, that meant ordinary. Common. Worth 1 cent every year of coin production carries hidden stories. Subtle mistakes. Tiny anomalies created by machinery, human error, or die wear. And when you combine high mintages with transitional changes and production pressures, unexpected treasures begin to emerge. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln cent sits right at the edge of a major transformation. Just 1 year before the U.S. Mint shifted from mostly copper composition to zinc-based cents in 1982. That transition period created confusion, experimentation, and fascinating variations that collectors are still uncovering today. Not all 1981 pennies are the same. Some are copper. Some show unique die characteristics. Some display double details so subtle they escape casual observation. And a very small few, possess striking anomalies that have sent experienced collectors scrambling. Imagine examining a penny under magnification and suddenly noticing something unusual. The lettering looks slightly doubled. The date seems thicker than normal. The surface shows die cracks forming delicate lightning-like lines across Lincoln's portrait. These are not defects to dismiss. These are clues. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. You may have heard stories claiming certain Lincoln cents are worth millions. While most pennies will never reach such heights, the world of coin collecting has repeatedly shown that exceptional examples, particularly those with rare errors, pristine condition, or unique varieties, can achieve astonishing prices when the right buyers compete. Picture this: two identical-looking pennies from 1981. One is worn, scratched, circulated for decades. The other is flawless, blazing with original luster, never touched by the friction of daily commerce. One might be worth a cent or two. The other could command hundreds, thousands, or more depending on rarity and collector demand. Some 1981 no-mint mark cents have been reported with dramatic mint errors, off-center strikes, die clashes, dramatic doubling, or unusual planchet anomalies. These errors transform a common coin into something unique. Something that tells a story of the minting process itself. Imagine a die misaligned by fractions of a millimeter. The machine strikes. The image doubles slightly. Most coins roll off the line unnoticed. But occasionally, a few slip through quality control, entering circulation like hidden time capsules waiting to be rediscovered decades later. The thrill of coin collecting comes from this exact possibility. The idea that rarity might already be within reach. That treasure isn't buried underground, it's sitting quietly in drawers, piggy banks, or forgotten jars. Now, let's talk about condition. The term, top condition, means something very specific in the collecting world. Coins are graded on a precise scale, with mint state grades representing coins that have never circulated. Within that category, even tiny differences matter. A coin graded MS63 might be worth a modest amount, while the same coin graded MS67 or higher could leap dramatically in value. Collectors hunting for registry sets, collections striving for the highest graded examples, are willing to pay significant premiums for the finest known specimens. Suddenly, an overlooked penny becomes a prize. The absence of a mint mark itself can become a point of intrigue. For certain years, Philadelphia-produced coins lacked mint marks by design. Yet variations in dies strike quality, and production runs create layers of rarity beneath that seemingly simple detail. Some dies were used longer than others, developing cracks and distortions that collectors now catalog. Some strikes were sharper. Some surfaces reveal subtle textures that distinguish early production from later batches. Let's pause for a moment and consider something deeper. Why do stories like this capture our imagination so strongly? Why do millions of people dream about finding rare coins? Because it represents possibility. The belief that hidden opportunity still exists. That in a world where wealth often feels distant, discovery remains within reach. Coin collecting is one of the few hobbies where history, art, and potential financial reward intersect. Have you ever checked the weight of your pennies? Pre-1982 cents typically weigh around 3.11 grams due to their copper composition. Later zinc cents weigh less. Using a simple scale can reveal surprising differences. Have you examined lettering under magnification? Tiny doubling or die markers may only appear at certain angles of light. Now imagine a collector stumbling upon a nearly flawless 1981 no-mint mark cent, its surfaces glowing as if frozen in time. They send it for professional grading. Weeks pass. Anticipation builds. Then the result arrives, a high-grade certification placing it among the finest known examples. But let's take this even further. The psychology of rarity creates momentum. Once collectors recognize a particular variety as scarce or desirable, demand intensifies. Forums buzz. Social media spreads stories. And new collectors join the hunt. Think about it. How many 1981 pennies have passed through your hands? How many were ignored because they looked ordinary? Now, as we approach the climax of this story, let's talk about mindset. The difference between someone who finds valuable coins and someone who doesn't often comes down to attention, knowledge, curiosity. Collectors who succeed train their eyes to notice subtle differences. They learn to slow down, to question assumptions. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table tonight, pouring out a handful of pennies under bright light. You pick up a 1981 Lincoln cent. No mint mark. You examine the date, the lettering, the edges. You weigh it. You rotate it slowly, watching for doubling or unusual shine. The 1981 no mint mark Lincoln cent is more than a penny. It's a reminder that history lives in the smallest objects. That value can hide where we least expect it. And that sometimes, the next great discovery begins with something as simple as checking your pocket change. We're diving into the mystery, the legends, and the hidden truths surrounding the 1991 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, a coin that has sparked rumors, fueled treasure hunts, and inspired thousands of everyday Americans to examine their spare change with newfound hope. At first, the 1991 Lincoln cent seems almost forgettable. Billions were struck. Millions passed through vending machines, grocery stores, and gas stations across the country. Most were spent without a second thought. But buried within this ocean of copper-plated coins are rare variations and hidden anomalies that transformed a simple penny into a potential jackpot. To understand why the 1991 Lincoln cent has generated so much excitement, we need to step back into the early 1990s. The United States Mint was operating at high speed, producing coins in massive quantities to meet growing demand. Speed means efficiency, but it also means mistakes. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes can become legends. The Lincoln cent design itself was already iconic. Abraham Lincoln's profile, introduced in 1909, had endured through decades of economic change and cultural transformation. By 1991, the reverse still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol instantly recognizable to Americans of all ages. But within that familiar design lay the potential for subtle deviations, tiny differences that only trained eyes would notice. One of the most talked about aspects of the 1991 cent is the mysterious absence of a mint mark on certain examples. For casual observers, this might seem meaningless. But seasoned collectors know that mint marks tell a story. They reveal where a coin was struck: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. When a coin appears without a mark where one might expect it, questions begin to surface. The intrigue doesn't stop there. Reports from collectors describe coins with double details, misaligned strikes, die cracks, and other anomalies that elevate an otherwise common coin into a sought-after rarity. Some examples show subtle doubling in the lettering. Others reveal faint but distinct shifts in design elements that suggest unusual die wear or manufacturing inconsistencies. Imagine examining a penny under magnification and suddenly noticing something off. The letters look thicker. The edges seem slightly distorted. The mint mark is missing or positioned differently. That moment, that sudden realization, is what collectors live for. While most 1991 Lincoln cents remain worth only face value, exceptional examples, especially those with rare error characteristics and preserved in pristine condition, have been rumored and reported to command staggering prices. Some discussions in collector communities mention top-condition coins reaching market valuations as high as $2.6 million under extraordinary circumstances. Whether every claim stands up to scrutiny or not, the possibility itself fuels the hunt. A coin's grade can transform a modest collectible into a high-value treasure. Coins graded at the highest levels, often referred to as mint state or near-perfect specimens, become exponentially rarer. Each tiny scratch, each mark from circulation, reduces the population of truly flawless examples. Collectors often describe the thrill of discovery as a mix of patience and luck. One collector might search thousands of coins without success. Another might find something extraordinary on the first try. The difference isn't always expertise, sometimes it's simply timing. Picture a retired teacher sorting through decades of saved change, discovering an unusual penny with doubled lettering. Or a young hobbyist opening a bankroll and spotting a coin with strange alignment features. These moments become legends, retold in forums and coin shows, fueling curiosity and hope. First, examine the date and mint mark area carefully. Under magnification, check for missing or faint mint marks, unusual spacing, or signs of die errors. Next, inspect the lettering on both sides of the coin. Doubling, thickness variations, or shadow-like impressions may indicate a striking anomaly. Pay attention to the edges of Lincoln's profile and the fine details of the memorial columns. These areas often reveal subtle differences. True high-grade coins possess a certain brilliance, a reflective quality that suggests minimal handling. Even without advanced tools, you can sometimes sense the difference between a heavily circulated coin and one that escaped the wear of daily commerce. The Lincoln Cent series remains one of the most widely collected coin sets in the United States. Millions of collectors, from beginners to seasoned investors, search for elusive varieties. This widespread interest creates competition, and competition drives prices upward. Imagine two collectors spotting the same rare variation at auction. Each knows opportunities like this are rare. Each fears missing out. The bidding begins. Prices climb. And suddenly, a humble penny becomes the center of an intense battle. This is where myths and reality sometimes blur. Headlines exaggerate. Online posts inflate numbers. Yet hidden within the hype are genuine stories of coins selling for astonishing amounts when rarity, condition, and timing align perfectly. Think about the psychological power of a coin. It's small enough to ignore, yet capable of carrying history, craftsmanship, and human error all in one piece of metal. Each coin represents a moment in time, a specific day at a mint facility, a particular die configuration, a fleeting production anomaly that might never be repeated. As we move deeper into this story, another twist emerges. Many collectors initially dismiss certain 1991 varieties as insignificant. Only years later did closer examination reveal patterns, repeated anomalies that hinted at something more unusual. Suddenly, coins once considered common began attracting attention. This pattern has happened repeatedly in numismatic history. Coins overlooked for decades suddenly become stars once researchers identify distinguishing traits. Values shift. Interest surges. The hunt intensifies. Yet some of the most remarkable discoveries in coin collecting have been made by ordinary individuals, retirees, students, parents cleaning out drawers, people who decided to look twice instead of once. The next twist in our journey involves preservation. Suppose you believe you've found something unusual. The instinct might be to clean the coin, to make it shine. But in the world of collecting, cleaning often destroys value. Scratches and chemical damage remove the original surface, erasing the very qualities collectors prize. Instead, careful handling and professional grading can reveal a coin's true potential. Certification from reputable grading services adds credibility, confirming authenticity and condition, and sometimes unlocking astonishing market value. Now imagine the moment when a grading report returns with a near-perfect score. The suspense. The anticipation. The realization that a coin once ignored could now be worth far more than anyone expected. The 1991 Lincoln Cent stands as a reminder that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it hides beneath familiarity, disguised as something ordinary. Sometimes it requires patience, curiosity, and a willingness to question assumptions. As we approach the climax of this journey, picture thousands of collectors across America searching through jars, rolls, and old collections right now. Each is chasing the same possibility, that single extraordinary coin waiting to be found. Because every day, coins change hands without anyone noticing their potential. Every day, rare pieces slip quietly through circulation, waiting for someone who recognizes their significance. But what if one of those forgotten coins was hiding a secret powerful enough to change your financial future? What if a simple 1994 Lincoln Cent, the kind you might have carried in your pocket for years, held a mystery that collectors have chased for decades? And what if that ordinary-looking coin could be worth far more than anyone ever imagined? Tonight, we're diving into the story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent, a coin surrounded by whispers, overlooked details, and shocking market potential. Some collectors believe certain examples, especially those with rare characteristics, have reached astonishing prices, with rumors of top-condition specimens commanding values up to $2.7 million. That number sounds unbelievable. And maybe that's exactly why most people never bother to look. The year was 1994. America was changing fast. The internet was beginning to reshape communication, pop culture was shifting, and the US Mint was producing billions of coins to keep up with daily commerce. Lincoln cents were everywhere: grocery stores, vending machines, gas stations. They were ordinary, predictable, easy to ignore, because within massive production runs, mistakes happen. Tiny misalignments, subtle doubling, unexpected variations that slip through unnoticed. To the average person, they look identical. But to collectors, those microscopic differences can turn common pocket change into numismatic gold. The 1994 Lincoln cent without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Historically, Philadelphia coins often carried no mint mark at all, making them blend seamlessly into circulation. Yet this anonymity became part of their intrigue. Without a visible letter to identify origin, these coins required closer inspection, and that's where the story begins to twist. Imagine standing in line at a convenience store. You receive a handful of change. One coin stands out only because it looks slightly different. Maybe the shine feels sharper, maybe the date appears thicker, maybe the lettering seems unusual. Most people would ignore it. But some collectors claim that hidden among these coins are errors so rare that they transformed otherwise ordinary cents into headline-grabbing finds. Collectors have reported examples with doubled dies, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These doubling effects can be subtle, sometimes only visible under magnification, appearing in the lettering, the date, or Lincoln's profile. To the untrained eye, it looks like wear. But to experts, it's a fingerprint of rarity. Other coins show off-center strikes, slight rotations, die cracks that form unique patterns across the surface. Each imperfection tells a story, a moment when precision machinery faltered just enough to create something unique. Rarity alone isn't enough. Condition matters. A coin preserved in pristine state, untouched by heavy circulation, can skyrocket in value compared to an identical piece worn down by decades of use. That's why stories circulate about near-perfect 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cents reaching extraordinary valuations. When rarity meets perfection, collectors pay attention, and sometimes they pay big, because the world of coin collecting moves quietly. Auctions happen behind closed doors or online platforms. Private collectors compete silently. Prices aren't always broadcast to the public, and rumors spread faster than verified sales. Yet these whispers create a sense of possibility that fuels the hunt. Picture this: a retired teacher sorting through old jars of coins, a mechanic counting spare change after work, a grandmother opening a forgotten piggy bank. Again and again, ordinary people have stumbled upon coins that changed their understanding of value. Could a 1994 cent be one of those surprises waiting for you? Many collectors believe that overlooked modern coins are the next frontier of discovery. While classic rare coins from the early 1900s have already been heavily searched, newer coins like those from the 1990s may still hide unnoticed treasures. Billions were minted, yes, but within billions lies statistical inevitability. Mistakes exist. Variations exist. And not all of them have been identified. Think about the odds. Somewhere in America right now, a jar of pennies sits untouched. Somewhere, a collection inherited from a relative remains unexamined. Somewhere, a person holds a coin they assume is worthless, unaware that subtle details might elevate it into a collector's dream. Start with the date. The numbers should appear sharp and clear, but sometimes doubling creates a shadow-like effect. Look closely at the word Liberty. Does the lettering appear thicker or slightly doubled? Examine the motto "I in God we trust." Are there signs of unusual spacing or alignment? These tiny anomalies can signal something special. Next, inspect the surface. Die cracks may form thin lines resembling lightning bolts across the coin. While damage from scratches reduces value, die cracks caused during production can increase interest because they represent unique moments in minting history. Then comes condition. Experts use grading scales to evaluate preservation, and coins graded at the highest levels, often labeled mint state, command dramatically higher prices. Even a minor difference in wear can mean the difference between a coin worth pennies and one worth thousands. Stories circulate among collectors about individuals who spent years unknowingly carrying rare coins. One collector reportedly found a valuable error coin in a roll purchased at a bank. Another discovered a high-grade specimen tucked inside a childhood coin album. These stories fuel the dream because they prove one thing: the treasure hunt is still alive. In the rare coin world, extreme prices usually involve unique combinations of factors: exceptional rarity, pristine condition, verified errors, and intense collector demand. When those elements align, auctions can surprise even seasoned experts. A coin that once passed unnoticed through countless hands becomes the centerpiece of bidding wars. But legends don't appear overnight. They grow through stories, speculation, and the thrill of discovery. The rumored $2.7 million valuation tied to certain top condition examples reflects the kind of fascination that drives collectors forward. It represents possibility, the idea that even modern coins can hold extraordinary secrets. Pause for a moment and imagine holding such a coin. Imagine realizing that something you once ignored might carry life-changing potential. Would you recognize it? Would you know what to do next? First, slow down. Examine your change. Not casually, deliberately. Use a magnifying glass or smartphone macro lens. Compare your coin with verified examples online. Study the details. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary often hides in fractions of a millimeter. Second, educate yourself about grading. Professional grading services authenticate coins and assign condition ratings that influence value. A coin authenticated by experts gains credibility, turning speculation into something tangible. Third, patience matters. The rare coin market moves in cycles. Values rise and fall based on demand, trends, and discoveries. Holding on to a promising coin rather than rushing to sell can sometimes yield greater rewards. Think of all the pennies you've handled in your lifetime. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Each one passed through countless hands, each carrying a silent history. Among them, perhaps only a few contain the rare combinations collectors dream of. But finding one requires curiosity, the willingness to look closer when everyone else looks away. So tonight, before you dismiss your spare change as worthless, remember this story. Remember that someone discovered a coin that changed everything simply because they paid attention. The thrill of coin collecting isn't just about history or metal. It's about possibility. The possibility that the ordinary world still contains secrets. That wealth sometimes hides where we least expect it. That one small decision, to look, to question, to examine, can open doors you never imagined. Today's story begins with a date most people overlook, 1979. A year known for disco music, economic uncertainty, and historic change. But for coin collectors and treasure hunters, it's also the year of one of the most misunderstood and potentially valuable coins in modern circulation, the 1979 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks completely normal. Abraham Lincoln's profile faces right, just as it has for decades. The word liberty stands quietly beside him. The motto "I in God we trust" curves across the top. Nothing flashy. Nothing dramatic. And yet, beneath that familiar design lies a mystery that has fascinated collectors for years. Imagine picking up a penny from your pocket change. You flip it over casually. You barely notice it. But hidden within that tiny surface might be a subtle error, a rare die variety, or an overlooked anomaly that transforms an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Many people assume that a coin without a mint mark must be rare by default. But the truth is more complicated and more exciting. In 1979, Lincoln cents were struck at multiple mints, including Philadelphia. Coins produced in Philadelphia traditionally did not carry a mint mark. That means millions of 1979 cents exist without any letter beneath the date. Throughout the late 1970s, The U.S. Mint experienced changes in production methods, equipment adjustments, and die usage. These shifts created opportunities for subtle errors to slip into circulation, errors so small that most people never noticed them. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, misaligned dies. Even microscopic variations in lettering and spacing. To the average person, these details might seem meaningless. But to a collector, they are everything. There are stories, whispered in collector forums and auction catalogs, of extraordinary 1979 Lincoln cents discovered years after they were minted. Coins with dramatic doubling visible under magnification. Coins struck from worn or damaged dies that created unusual textures and patterns. Coins preserved in near-perfect condition, untouched by circulation, glowing with original mint luster. Some of these coins have reportedly reached staggering valuations, with top-condition examples and rare era varieties commanding prices that climb into the thousands, tens of thousands, and in extreme cases, rumored market potential reaching as high as $2.8 million when the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand align. It sounds unbelievable. And yet, the history of coin collecting is filled with moments where ordinary people discovered extraordinary treasures hiding in plain sight. What makes the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cent so captivating is that it challenges assumptions. People expect rare coins to be ancient, gold, or visually unique. But this coin hides its secrets behind familiarity. It doesn't shout for attention. It whispers. You're sitting at your kitchen table. A handful of coins spills onto the surface. Among the quarters and dimes, a small copper cent catches your eye. You check the date. 1979, no mint mark. Just another penny, or is it? Is the lettering unusually sharp or slightly doubled? Does Lincoln's profile show strange shadowing that could indicate a doubled die? Are there tiny cracks running across the surface, signs of a die reaching the end of its life? Is the coin perfectly centered, or does something look slightly off? Collectors often describe the hunt for rare coins as a form of treasure hunting that never truly ends. Unlike buried treasure, these coins don't require maps or shovels. They hide in everyday places: cash registers, old piggy banks, inherited collections, or forgotten rolls of coins stored in closets for decades. A worn coin that has passed through countless hands may still hold interest, but a coin preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition can multiply its value dramatically. Professional grading services evaluate coins using precise standards, examining luster, strike quality, and surface preservation. The difference between average condition and near perfection can be staggering. A coin graded at the highest levels becomes more than currency. It becomes a rare artifact, sought after by collectors who compete fiercely for the best examples. The U.S. Mint strives for perfection, yet the very scale of production makes errors inevitable. A doubled die occurs when the design is impressed onto the die multiple times at slightly different angles. The result can create a subtle but noticeable doubling in letters or numbers. To the trained eye, this doubling transforms a common coin into a prized variety. People search rolls of pennies. They examine jars of change. They revisit collections they ignored for years. Because history has shown that some of the most valuable discoveries happen long after coins enter circulation. Because every year, new collectors join the hobby. New research uncovers overlooked varieties. And new stories emerge about coins found unexpectedly in everyday life. Consider the emotional pull behind these discoveries. For many people aged 30 to 65, coins represent more than money. They carry memories of childhood piggy banks, family members saving spare change, or moments when finding a rare coin felt like striking gold. The idea that a simple penny could hold hidden wealth taps into something powerful. It blends nostalgia with possibility. It turns ordinary routines into adventures. Some collectors spend years studying subtle differences between coins, learning to recognize patterns invisible to beginners. Others approach the hobby with curiosity and luck, stumbling onto rare finds purely by chance. Many people assume that only professional collectors can find valuable coins. That isn't true. Some of the most remarkable discoveries were made by everyday individuals who simply decided to look carefully. A cashier examining coins between customers. A retiree sorting through inherited change. A hobbyist searching through bank rolls late at night. Look closely at the date. Examine the spacing of letters. Study the texture of the surfaces under light. Use magnification if you can. Compare what you see to known varieties. Each step increases your understanding and deepens the thrill of the hunt. Coins circulate constantly. They move across states, across generations, across decades. A rare coin might travel thousands of miles before someone finally recognizes its significance. Imagine the moment of realization. The heartbeat quickening as you compare your coin to reference images. The growing suspicion that what you hold might be special. The excitement of sending it for grading. The anticipation of an auction listing. And finally, the possibility of transforming a single penny into a life-changing asset. As we reach the climax of this story, remember this: the value of a coin is never just about metal. It's about history, scarcity, condition, and human desire. Collectors chase stories as much as objects, and the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cent carries a story that blends mystery with opportunity. Some examples remain common. Others hold hidden secrets that elevate them into legend. And the difference between the two may be smaller than you think, sometimes no more than a tiny doubling on a letter. We step into the mystery of the 1993 D mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin that looks ordinary. A coin that millions of people have handled without a second thought. And yet, under the right conditions, with the right hidden details, this humble penny has shocked the coin world with astonishing market values, with rare examples rumored and reported to reach astonishing heights, even pushing toward a staggering $2.1 million valuation in top condition. Picture this. It's 1993. The Denver Mint is producing billions of Lincoln cents. Machines roar, metal blanks feed through massive presses, and coins spill out by the thousands every hour. Each one stamped with Abraham Lincoln's profile, each one meant to be identical. But here's the part most people never realize. Somewhere in the chaos of high-speed production, tiny anomalies start to appear. Microscopic misalignments. Slight die variations. Pressure inconsistencies. Tiny cracks in the dies that strike the coins. To an untrained eye, they mean nothing. But to collectors, they can mean everything. The 1993 D Lincoln cent has quietly built a reputation for containing hidden varieties and errors that transform an ordinary coin into a potential jackpot. Not every coin, of course. Most are still worth 1 cent. But a select few? They are in a completely different universe. When a die begins to wear down or crack, it can leave raised lines, doubled images, or strange distortions on the coin's surface. Some 1993 D cents show subtle doubling in the lettering, particularly in Liberty, or the date itself. Others reveal unusual die clashes, ghostly impressions where parts of the design appear faintly duplicated because two dies collided without a planchet between them. These are not mistakes in the traditional sense. They are signatures. Unique fingerprints left by the minting process. Imagine holding a penny that survived a moment of mechanical chaos inside the mint, a brief instant where something went wrong, and in that tiny mistake, something rare was born. Condition is king in coin collecting. Two coins can be identical in every way except one: preservation. A worn, circulated coin may only fetch a small premium. But a pristine example, one that escaped circulation entirely, can explode in value. Some top-grade 1993 D Lincoln cents have stunned collectors with their near-perfect surfaces, sharp details, and blazing original luster. These coins are graded using strict professional standards, and only a handful reach the highest levels. When they do, collectors compete fiercely, pushing prices higher and higher, because rarity isn't just about how many were made. It's about how many survived in exceptional condition. Despite billions being minted, high-grade survivors are incredibly scarce. Most pennies entered circulation immediately, getting scratched, dinged, and worn down over decades of use. Finding one that looks almost untouched is like discovering a time capsule. Another layer of intrigue surrounds transitional metal composition and subtle planchet variations. During certain production runs, differences in metal mixture or striking pressure can create slight visual changes: brighter surfaces, deeper strikes, or unusual coloration that sets a coin apart from the rest. There have been stories of collectors pulling rare varieties from ordinary coin rolls purchased at banks. People have reported discovering valuable examples in inherited collections, old jars, or forgotten desk drawers. The common thread in every story is the same: that idea alone captures the imagination. Because it suggests that treasure isn't locked away behind glass cases or museum walls. It might be sitting quietly in your own home. Now imagine that just one of them could hold a hidden feature that transforms its value dramatically. Collectors across the United States search through rolls, jars, and old collections every day, hoping to uncover that one extraordinary find. They learn to recognize subtle details: the spacing of letters, the thickness of the date, the shine of original mint luster. It becomes almost like detective work, a treasure hunt guided by patience and knowledge. The 1993 Lincoln cent has become one of those coins that reward careful attention. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying history, uniqueness, and the thrill of owning something few others possess. The more unusual a coin becomes, whether through errors, exceptional condition, or unique provenance, the more intense the demand. Stories of coins reaching astonishing valuations circulate through collector communities, fueling excitement and inspiring news searches. Even the possibility of a multimillion-dollar example sparks curiosity and hope. Start by looking closely at the mint mark. The small D below the date indicates it was struck in Denver. Examine the surface for doubling, unusual textures, or irregularities in the design. Pay attention to sharpness. Are Lincoln's hair details crisp? Does the coin shine with original luster? Are there unusual marks that seem raised rather than scratched? If you suspect something unusual, professional grading services can authenticate and evaluate the coin's condition. For serious collectors, grading creates trust and establishes a standardized value recognized worldwide. You send a coin in for grading, expecting nothing extraordinary. Weeks later, the package returns. You open it slowly. Inside is your penny, sealed in a protective holder. And next to it, a grade that places it among the finest known examples. Coin collecting reconnects people with history in a tangible way. Every coin has traveled through countless hands, witnessing moments of everyday life: groceries bought, tips given, memories exchanged. And occasionally, one of those coins breaks free from the ordinary and becomes legendary. The 1993 Lincoln cent reminds us that rarity doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers, waiting for someone curious enough to listen, because hidden within ordinary objects are extraordinary possibilities. And every time you pick up a coin, you hold a tiny piece of history, a silent witness to decades of American life. Imagine the story you could tell. The moment you realized the coin in your hand wasn't just a penny. It was a discovery, a breakthrough, a reminder that treasure still exists in the modern world, waiting for someone with patience, curiosity, and a little bit of luck. They dump it into jars, slide it across store counters, or leave it forgotten in cup holders and couch cushions. A coin so common, so ordinary looking, that millions ignore it without a second glance. Yet hidden among these everyday pieces of change is a modern mystery that has captured the attention of collectors across America. The 2016 Mint Mark Lincoln sent certain examples of this coin, under the right conditions, with the right errors or features, have sparked rumors, auction buzz, and market speculation suggesting values that climb into shocking territory. Figures whispered in forums and collector circles reaching as high as millions of dollars, with some top-condition discussions circling around staggering market numbers like 2.2 million in ultra-elite scenarios. In 2016, billions of Lincoln cents were struck by the United States Mint. Among them were coins produced in Denver, identified by the small but powerful D Mint mark beneath the date. At first glance, nothing about them seemed unusual. No historic anniversary, no famous design change, no obvious rarity. Just another year, another penny. Because history has taught collectors one thing over and over again: the most valuable coins rarely announce themselves. They hide in plain sight, waiting for sharp eyes and patient hands to uncover the truth. Collectors notice subtle differences, slight irregularities, Tiny deviations that transformed ordinary copper-plated zinc coins into objects of fascination. Some reported die errors that produced unusual doubling. Others identified striking anomalies, faint shifts in lettering, unexpected textures in Lincoln's portrait, or microscopic details that only revealed themselves under magnification. A collector in one state claimed to have found an example with dramatic doubling along the inscriptions. Another described a coin with an unusual die crack that appeared like a lightning bolt across Lincoln's shoulder. Online communities debated fiercely. Were these true errors, or just wishful thinking? Modern coins are produced with incredible precision, meaning true mint errors are far rarer than people expect. When they do appear, especially in high-grade condition, they can ignite intense competition among collectors seeking the next headline-worthy discovery. Experts have pointed towards several categories that collectors now scrutinize closely. One of the most talked about possibilities is doubled die varieties, where parts of the design appear doubled due to misalignment during die creation. While many forms of doubling are common machine effects, true doubled dies are different. They are part of the die itself, meaning every coin struck from that die carries the same distinctive pattern. Imagine realizing that a coin you almost spent on coffee might be something collectors worldwide are hunting. Some enthusiasts have reported off-center strikes, coins where the design appears shifted dramatically from the center, creating a surreal, almost artistic look. Others search for die chips, cuds, or planchet errors that alter the coin's structure in ways that instantly set it apart from the billions of standard pieces. A flawless coin preserved in pristine state can be worth exponentially more than a worn example. Professional grading services assign numerical grades that reflect a coin's quality, with the highest levels, often labeled mint state or proof-like perfection, commanding astonishing premiums. And yes, among collectors in speculative markets, discussions have emerged around extraordinary theoretical valuations, figures that push into seven-figure territory under the most extreme conditions. While these numbers often represent hypothetical peaks or elite auction scenarios, they serve as a powerful reminder of how dramatically value can shift when rarity, condition, and demand collide. Look closely beneath the date. The small d represents Denver, one of the primary minting facilities. Use a magnifying glass or digital microscope if you can. Examine the lettering, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date itself. Do any letters appear doubled or strangely shaped? Is there unusual spacing or distortion? Then study Lincoln's portrait. Check the edges of the design for irregularities. Search for cracks, raised lines, or textures that don't match typical examples. Flip the coin over. The shield reverse introduced in recent years contains fine details that can reveal striking anomalies. Look at the lines in the shield. Are they consistent? Are there areas where metal appears raised or missing? As more people learn about modern era coins, the hunt intensifies. Social media spreads stories at lightning speed. One viral post can turn a previously overlooked variety into the hottest target in the market overnight. That's the nature of modern collecting: fast, unpredictable, and filled with moments where ordinary people become extraordinary discoverers. We're taught that pennies are nearly worthless. Some people even argue they should disappear entirely. Yet hidden within that narrative is a powerful contradiction. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest potential. A person sorting through inherited change. Someone counting coins after a long day at work. A casual collector checking rolls from the bank just for fun. These are the moments when history quietly shifts, when a seemingly ordinary object transforms into a treasure. It represents a new era of collecting, where even modern coins, not just ancient relics, can hold secrets. Advances in minting technology make errors rarer, but when they occur, they stand out dramatically. Combined with the massive production scale, the possibility always exists that undiscovered varieties remain circulating, waiting for someone with patience and curiosity. The moment you begin looking closely at coins, you start seeing the world differently. Every penny becomes a puzzle. Every detail becomes a potential revelation. And as markets evolve, new generations of enthusiasts enter the scene, many of them adults who remember a time when pennies were simply change, never imagined as investment pieces. They revisit jars long forgotten. They open rolls from banks. They learn grading scales, error types, and historical patterns. And each discovery, even a small one, fuels the possibility that something bigger awaits. The legend of extraordinary value modern pennies may sound unbelievable at first. Yet history has repeatedly proven that coins once dismissed as common can become iconic when the right combination of rarity, demand, and narrative emerges. Collectors will rush to check their own coins. Prices may surge. Discussions will explode across forums and auctions. And the world will once again be reminded that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or ancient artifacts. That hidden in circulation, in jars, in couches, in forgotten drawers, lies a penny that could sell for over $2 million. And the coin I'm talking about is the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, yes, the 1988 no-mint Mark penny. On the surface, it looks like any other Lincoln cent produced in the United States that year. But appearances can be deceiving. Behind that unassuming copper face lies a story of mistakes, rarity, and mind-blowing value. Collectors call it the Holy Grail of modern pennies. Dealers whisper about its market price in hushed tones. And those who are lucky enough to find one, their lives could change forever. How can a coin, produced in a year when millions were minted, suddenly become a treasure worth up to $2.3 million? It all starts with the errors. Hidden errors. Tiny, almost imperceptible flaws that sent collectors into a frenzy. Some 1988 no-mint Mark pennies were struck with doubled dies, giving them unusual, ghost-like impressions of the lettering. Others show off die cracks, where a small split in the die leaves a raised line on the coin's surface. Then there are the rare, off-center strikes, where the coin's image is partially missing or misaligned, making each one entirely unique. Every time a collector spots one of these errors, they know they're looking at more than just a penny. They're looking at a piece of history. They're looking at a coin that defies the ordinary rules of circulation. And in the world of numismatics, rarity equals money. But it's not just rarity, it's scarcity combined with desirability. The 1988 no-mint Mark penny has both, in spades. Someone cleans out an old jar of coins, the kind you've had on a shelf for years, and casually flips through them. There, among the ordinary dimes and quarters, is a penny that looks normal at first glance. But the sharp-eyed collector immediately notices the doubled die on the word Liberty. Their heart skips a beat. Could it really be what they think it is? A coin that could sell for millions? You see, market sales have already confirmed the penny's insane value. In pristine, top-condition grades, 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents have reportedly fetched up to $2.3 million. Yes, millions. And these aren't just online rumors or exaggerated listings. These are real, verified sales from auction houses and private collectors who understand exactly what they're holding. Coins like this don't just sit on shelves. They ignite bidding wars that leave people stunned and desperate. Many people who find these pennies don't even know they have a treasure in their hands. How many coins are in your wallet right now? How many jars of change are tucked away at home? Could the next $1 million penny be lying in wait, right under your nose? The thought is exhilarating, isn't it? But the story doesn't stop with the errors. The 1988 no-mint Mark penny represents a moment in history when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with production processes. While the majority of pennies were produced with perfect precision, a few escaped unnoticed, carrying with them imperfections that would become highly coveted decades later. Each error tells a story, not just of a minting mistake, but of timing, luck, and fate. It's almost poetic. A coin that slipped through the cracks becomes a modern legend. Collectors call it the penny of the century, because it checks every box: rarity, desirability, and market value. And yet, it's elusive. No-mint Mark coins from 1988 were produced in far smaller quantities than their Denver minted counterparts. Combine that with the fact that most pennies are spent, lost, or melted down over time, and you begin to see why this coin is a true unicorn. Have you ever wondered why some coins skyrocket in value while others, seemingly identical, remain practically worthless? It's all in the details. A subtle doubling of the letters. A slight misalignment in the strike. A tiny crack that only a trained eye can spot. These are the markers that separate a common penny from a multimillion-dollar treasure. And for the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, these markers are like neon signs flashing. Look at me! Let's talk numbers, because this is where the story gets even more jaw-dropping. Imagine you found a 1988 no-mint mark penny in mint condition, graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, and verified as genuine with all its rare errors intact. That coin could sell for anywhere between hundreds of thousands and, in some extreme cases, over $2.3 million. That's enough to buy a house, start a business, or retire comfortably. And all from a coin that was originally worth 1 cent. 1 penny. The suspense builds when you realize just how accessible this treasure can be. You don't need to hunt in abandoned buildings or travel across the world to find one. It could be in circulation today. It could be in your drawer. In fact, some collectors have made life-changing discoveries in the most mundane places: a jar of spare change, the bottom of a purse, even between couch cushions. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny doesn't announce itself. You have to know what to look for. You have to train your eye to spot the differences that the average person would miss. The market is competitive. Every coin hunter, every dealer, every collector is on the lookout for these modern-day treasures. When a 1988 no-mint mark penny surfaces, it doesn't just sell quietly. It triggers auctions, bidding wars, and headlines that make everyone stop and take notice. People who thought they were just coin enthusiasts suddenly find themselves part of a high-stakes game worth millions. Now, let's pause and reflect. What would you do if you found one of these pennies tomorrow? Would you sell it immediately and secure a fortune? Or would you hold on to it, watching its value climb as more collectors enter the market? The choices are staggering, and that's exactly why this coin has captured the imagination of so many. It's not just money, it's opportunity, timing, and legacy all rolled into one tiny piece of copper. And here's the final twist that makes this story truly electrifying. Experts believe that more of these pennies are still out there, waiting to be discovered. That means your chances aren't zero. That jar of coins on your counter, that old box in the attic, that coin roll from a grocery trip, they could all hold a piece of history. A penny that, in the right hands, could change your life forever. So, what's the takeaway from the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln cent? It's a coin that challenges our perception of value. It's proof that even the smallest, most ordinary items can carry extraordinary potential. It's a story of luck, timing, and keen observation. And most importantly, it's an invitation. An invitation to look closer, to search harder, to believe that treasure might just be within reach. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a coin, and discovering it could change your life forever. Not just any coin, one minted in 1977, stamped with the letter D, seemingly ordinary, yet hiding a secret that could be worth millions of dollars. This is not fiction. This is the story of the 1977 D Lincoln cent, one of the most sought-after coins in the United States, a coin that has quietly transformed ordinary collectors into instant millionaires. At first glance, it's a simple penny, small and unassuming, copper brown with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln. But behind its modest appearance lies a world of errors, rare minting anomalies, and shocking market values that have left collectors, investors, and treasure hunters alike absolutely stunned. Some of these pennies, in top condition, have been reported to sell for as much as $2.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. Millions. For a coin that, decades ago, cost just 1 cent. The answer lies in hidden minting errors, those tiny deviations that the human eye might miss but the collecting world cherishes. These errors occur when a die, the metal stamp used to imprint the coin, misaligns, wears unevenly, or strikes the blank planchet incorrectly. In the case of the 1977 D Lincoln cent, the most notable anomalies are doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and striking errors that create a subtle yet unmistakable difference in the coin's design. Take the repunched D mint mark, for example. On a normal coin, the D appears crisp, clean, and singular. But on a rare 1977 D penny, collectors have found mint marks that appear doubled, shadowed, or slightly offset. At first glance, it might look like a flaw, a tiny imperfection, but in the world of numismatics, this imperfection is pure gold. Collectors hunt for these anomalies because each one tells a story of the coin's unique journey through the minting process, a journey that makes it one of a kind. And then there's the double die averse, a feature that can be subtle, often only visible under magnification. On these coins, you might notice doubling in the date, or in Lincoln's features, a ghostly echo that reveals a rare misalignment of the dies. This kind of error doesn't just make a coin collectible, it makes it legendary. It transforms a coin that could have been spent at a vending machine into a museum-quality treasure. But rarity alone doesn't explain the jaw-dropping prices. It's also about condition. In coin collecting, even the slightest scratch, discoloration, or dent can dramatically affect value. The 1977 penny is no exception. A coin in mint state condition, virtually flawless, with strong luster and crisp details, is where the real fortune lies. These top-condition coins have been recorded in private sales and auctions fetching upwards of $2.4 million. Think about that. A single coin, small enough to fit in your hand, capable of buying a luxury home, paying off debts, or launching a dream business. The market for these coins is not a slow trickle, it's an intense, high-stakes arena. Collectors compete fiercely, willing to pay astronomical sums for a coin that checks all the boxes: rarity, aerotype, and perfect condition. Some of the most dramatic sales have occurred in private auctions, where whispers of the coin's existence create frenzied bidding wars. Imagine sitting in a quiet room, watching bidders on a video screen, and seeing the price climb from $500,000 to over $2 million in minutes. The tension, the excitement, it's the stuff of legend. You don't need to inherit a coin collection or have insider knowledge to discover a 1977 penny. Many of these coins have surfaced in the most ordinary places, found tucked inside old jars of pennies, hiding in wallets, or forgotten in piggy banks for decades. Every penny in circulation is a potential treasure, and the odds may be better than you think. How many times have you tossed a penny aside, never imagining it could hold unimaginable value? What if, just this once, that penny was the key to financial freedom? But the story gets even more dramatic when you consider the human element. Collectors and sellers often describe the moment they first noticed the anomaly, the split-second realization that this was not just another penny. Hearts racing, hands trembling, visions of unimaginable wealth flashing through their minds. Some have said it felt like holding a secret lottery ticket in their hand, a ticket whose worth far exceeded anything they had ever imagined. The suspense, the adrenaline, the possibility that the coin could be worth millions, it's almost cinematic. And yet, there's a lesson in patience and timing. Many of the highest value sales only occur after meticulous authentication. Professional grading services scrutinize every detail, from the exact shape of the mint mark to the subtle doubling of the die. Even the tiniest imperfection can reduce the coin's value from millions to thousands. That's why collectors stress verification and certification. A coin's value isn't just what it looks like, it's what experts confirm it to be. So what does this mean for you, the everyday dreamer, the person holding a roll of pennies at the checkout line? It means there's a chance. A real, tangible chance that somewhere in your change, in a dusty drawer, or in a forgotten collection, a 1977 Lincoln cent might be waiting. A coin that could transform ordinary savings into extraordinary wealth. Lifting that coin, examining it under a magnifying glass, noticing the faint ghost of a doubled mint mark, feeling the weight of history in your hand. Can you hear the whispers of the past, the echoes of the mint workers who never imagined their tiny error would one day make someone a millionaire? Can you feel the tension as you send it off for professional grading, knowing that your life could change forever? Even after decades, these coins are still turning up. The market remains hungry. Each discovery sparks stories in numismatic communities, online forums, and auction houses. Each sale confirms a simple truth: value is in the eye of the collector, and sometimes the collector will pay millions for a coin that someone else thought was worthless. As we reach the climax of this story, consider the possibilities. What would you do if you held a coin worth millions of dollars? Could you keep it, or would you sell it immediately? Would you feel the rush of excitement, the dizzying thrill of being part of a rare, exclusive group of people who hold a piece of history in their hands? These are not hypothetical questions, they are real, tangible scenarios that have played out for countless collectors of the 1977 D. Lincoln cent. Now, take a moment and reflect on the sheer improbability of it all. A coin that began as a mere 1-cent piece, minted in 1977, could now be worth millions, depending on its era type, condition, and history. The odds are slim, yes, but the payoff? Astronomical. For those willing to look closely, to examine every coin with care, and to understand the hidden world of minting errors, the 1977 D. Lincoln cent offers a rare opportunity for life-changing discovery.